And second reason was that new technologies which is needed in order to produce energy, not from the fossil fuels, but let's say from renewable and other sources, or new industrial processes which need to be developed to do other job without using fossil fuels. Basically, the idea was that country who will start to do it first will get a technological advantage and will create not only something good for their own economy, but later will be able to provide the same solution to other countries and like this maintain technological leadership. So that was a logic. So why basically directions was moved towards this. Think about it. If you're talking about planting of the trees, it's nice, but where to plant it? In Russia, in Brazil, somewhere in Africa. So definitely not in Europe. So because not so much space available, which basically not used for other purposes, for agriculture or other productive purposes. So that's why idea moved towards this direction. Also, it was more easier to, let's say, to sell to the voters because investments done at your home, working places created at your home, but at the same time, you're kind of fighting global problem. In this situation, climate change is a very specific story because we have one atmosphere for whole the planet. It's very unusual compared with other problems. If you want to give people access to the water, you need to do something where these people live. If you wanted to do something with climate change, you can do investment in your own territory, benefiting your industry and your taxpayers, but still fighting global good. So this is kind of asymmetry existing.
That's the idea, and that's how it's been sold. But in effect, climate policy has reduced the standard of living of people in the United States and Europe. It's made energy more expensive. It's made them poorer.
Actually, what happened exactly what it should happen. So by applying something what is relatively expensive, slowly, local industry start to be not very competitive. Like a result, working places and production start to shift away to the countries where it's more competitive to do. So like a result, that is what really happened. So who is leader today in terms of the solar panels, in the wind, basically? Of course, China, electric cars. So that's what happened. So basically, Western countries started trend with decarbonization, trying to achieve one result, but in reality, another result was achieved during the same period of time. What Western countries do today? First of all, I will tell about Europe because they're in forefront of all of these processes. So, domestic industry become not competitive. So what you do? So firstly, you try to subsidize them using basically different budget money. But then your competitors starting to do the same. I'm talking about China or other countries or United States, like famous Inflation Reduction Act of the President Biden, which is bringing a lot of money to subsidize renewable energy. Yes. So we start competition of this. One story. But poor countries cannot compete. They don't have money for this. Second, what Europeans doing and what will happen in other countries as well, you start to create a barrier for the goods which is produced in other part of the world, but which should enter your territory. Meaning, if carbon reduction in your domestic place cost, I don't know what it costs today, maybe 80 euros. And if some producer produce goods in another place of the world where carbon reduction costs zero, so his products, when they're coming to the Europe, he will need to pay duty. It's so-called CAPM mechanism. They will need to pay duties to compensate the cost for difference with the cost with European producers. In other words, the story is pushed for other countries to follow the same agenda. So that's basically where we are. Step number one, it was logical to choose, from the perspective of the Western countries, to choose this course on a certain moment of time. So number two, it did not brought them too many good, because basically simply they start to kill the industries which start to move to another place.
Yes, I notice.
Now they're starting to do step number three, trying to be protective, to create certain type of the trade barriers based on the different carbon prices. So that's where we are going. Everything is nice, only it has nothing to do with the climate.